Welcome to the Cross Canada Spotlight. I'm Mike Arsenault. Every week we take a look at a handful of the most interesting and entertaining stories produced across the Global News Network. Our first story this week is almost beyond words. It tells the tale of an incredible reunion of an Afghan father and his son against seemingly insurmountable odds.
Welcome.
On Monday, this man was reunited with his little boy, the 3-year-old enduring a long and arduous journey to arrive at this moment. Global News has agreed not to name the child or his father, but we did receive permission to show their faces.
He cannot put his feelings into words, but he was really happy when he saw his son.
The toddler was ushered away from the mayhem that unfolded at the Kabul airport last month. A suicide bombing claimed the lives of at least 175 people.
He finally got the news from his sister-in-law with a recorded voice of his wife that is confirming that she and 4 kids are okay.
But the little boy wasn't with them. Speaking to Global News through an interpreter, the boy's father says the child was put on a plane to Qatar. There he remained until officials were able to track him down and bring him to Canada.
They posted on Facebook. They contacted the area MP and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the NGOs. He used to receive calls from these different entities, and they were telling him that there are kids, Afghan kids, in 26 countries. And then one night he received a call from Ottawa from a lady. She asked him that there's a child that matches the description.
With help from multiple entities, they were brought together. But there's a bittersweet note to their story. The boy's mother and 4 siblings remain in Afghanistan.
The contact that he has right now with his family through telephones and internet, they can go black, and also the power outage is also another possibility. Every hour, every minute, there is a chance that things go dark.
In the end, he says he remains hopeful that officials can someday, in some way, reunite them all. Shalima Maharaj, Global News.
Wow. The confluence of events required to make that reunion happen are incredible. And as a new dad, a story like that just hits me different. I can't even begin to imagine the emotional turmoil the boy and his dad went through while they were separated. Hopefully it's a happy resolution for the rest of the family as well. Now, speaking of being a parent, have you ever heard of the term invisible parenting? Do you do everything for your kids, or do you preach independence? Take a look.
Peyton Williams is only 10, yet he has some big responsibilities. One of them caring for his pet rooster, Asteroid. The bird stays in the house.
Sorry, that's Asteroid.
Peyton can also cook dinner. He does farm chores, sells eggs, and buys his own feed for his horse.
Well, it's not that hard. Like, they all know me. I all know them. He hasn't known any difference. That's normal for me.
Peyton's mom, Sherilyn, is raising her son to be independent. If he's hungry, he makes a sandwich. If he's tired, he puts himself to bed.
I don't want to raise a boy that's going to sit there going, okay, I'm an adult, now what do I do?
Melissa Griffin coaches parents on how to lead kids. She's teaching her own children to have a sense of agency over themselves,
instead of always being an accessory to what their mom is doing.
Griffin says independence training should start when children are little.
The second best time to start this is right now.
Her tips: start small with simple challenges like getting change from a cashier. She urges parents to role play and practice conversations they may have with other adults. When they're ready, be invisible.
So I'm here, and if you ever get so anxious or so stuck that you need me, you can squeeze my hand and I'll come up. Or you can motion to me and I'll step up to the line. And that way they know I'm safe, I can try.
Sit back and let them do it, and they'll surprise you. You can't do everything and then all of a sudden cut them off at 18 and say, okay, figure it out.
And with a rooster sleeping in the house, Peyton has already learned how to get up early.
Would you stop crowing? He wants outside.
Kendra Slagoski, Global News.
I'll be honest, it took me until my late 20s to be as independent as Peyton. He's making me look bad. But I like the concept. It is important for kids to become more self-sufficient. My daughter turns 1 next week. So does that mean I can get her to potty train herself? The cost of diapers is killing me. To the East Coast now, where a chance encounter for a local artist led to his work's inclusion in a best-selling book.
When New Brunswick artist Jim Middleton put his brush to canvas to create a portrait of his idol Gord Downie after his passing, he never imagined his work would end up in the pages of one of Canada's most renowned self-help authors, Robin Sharma.
To be able to showcase in some way Jim Middleton's art is it's a joy for me.
The fact that my work could inspire him is crazy.
So is how this serendipitous moment came to be. Just by chance, while working away in his tiny corner space at a Fredericton market.
You're talking about somebody who got laid off a year ago in the pandemic?
Middleton had thrown himself into his art, trying to build a new career for himself, when in walked Ben Schmidt.
When I saw Jim's painting of Gord, I was just transfixed.
Sharing a passion for Downie's music, he offered to buy Middleton's original painting of Downie.
He couldn't sell that, and I said, would you do another one? He said, absolutely.
But it had to be done in only 3 days, a massive feat for an artist who had only started painting just over a year prior. In his rush to get it done, never in his wildest dreams did Middleton imagine that Ben was planning to give the painting to his maritime-born mentor, Sharma, at a conference in Toronto, who shares a passion for Downie's work.
Art can remind us of what's beautiful. And the piece that Ben Schmidt sent to me as a gift really did that for me.
Turns out that very painting would also become part of the inspiration for a chapter in his new book, The Everyday Hero Manifesto, that he wrote amid the pandemic, with a chapter dedicated to Canada's music legend.
Jim really captured the sparkle in his eye.
Middleton is now even more inspired to keep following his passion to create, forever grateful for that chance encounter and a shared passion for greatness.
Is a gift that I could never repay.
Shelley Steeves, Global News, Fredericton.
I can't believe how talented Jim is. When I heard that he's only been painting for a year, that almost doesn't compute. His art is fantastic, and I'm sure he'll have no problem making art his full-time career in the very near future. West to BC now, where the cleanup from the summer wildfire season continues, as well as efforts to save and find any items that may have survived the devastating fires.
This is a victory medal. Obviously, all the ribbons are gone.
72-year-old West Side Road resident Kent McFarlane, who lost his home to the destructive White Rock Lake wildfire, is now trying to put his life back together. He's getting help from volunteers with an Albertan non-denominational Christian organization who managed to find his father's and grandfather's war medals in the ashes.
It means the world to us because we couldn't have done it without them. I couldn't go through that area over there myself. It's ash and asphalt. It's a foot deep, and I couldn't do it myself. I've had friends come and relatives come, but it's an overwhelming job. These people right here are a blessing to be here with us.
Samaritan's Purse has been helping victims in the Lytton area since early August and have now arrived in the Okanagan to assist people here.
And so what we're doing is we're offering 2 distinct services. One of them is sifting, where we'll go into a burnt out residence with the property owner and help them look through to find anything that may have survived the fire. A lot of times mementos, jewelry, things that they'd like to recover. And the other thing we do is tree work, where we'll cut down either dangerous trees, which are going to fall on a residence or on a roadway, power line, utility, whatever.
The organization is mostly made up of volunteers, some of whom have come from across Canada.
I have people here from New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, and then the bulk of our volunteers will be here from the Vernon area or from British Columbia itself.
One of the out-of-province volunteers is Patty Limp. She's traveled from Calgary. Limp says it's important for her to be here and to try and help others who are struggling, saying it's rewarding work.
Every time we find something, when we see how much of a difference it makes for the homeowner, we see them relax, we see them enjoy things that they thought they'd lost forever, it's amazing.
The organization says it's looking to help as many people as it can. It's asking residents who need help to contact them by phone or through their website. Darian Matasafung, Global News.
It really is amazing that people from across the country are volunteering their time to help those in need. And though the fires are long gone, it's going to take residents months and potentially years to rebuild their lives. Throughout the pandemic, many people have turned to pet ownership to combat feelings of loneliness and isolation. Well, what has that impact meant?
You can hear and see the joy in Linda Wynn. Her 2 adopted dogs are everything to her. Both were sick and injured when found by rescue groups.
Innocent, loving pets that just want to be loved. And that's what I needed too, so it worked out.
Wynn didn't grow up with pets. Her psychologist suggested a dog after the pandemic shut down treatment options for her PTSD. First came Mina, then Trixie.
Trixie, what's this?
Her new furry family forced her off the couch. She quit smoking and drinking.
I'm a lot happier. I feel healthier, and yeah, they've brought so much joy to me than I could imagine. If I could have 10, I would, but my house is not that big.
The Ontario SPCA says nearly 3 in 10 Canadians adopted a pet during the pandemic.
Over 40% of Canadians actually ended up adopting through an adoption agency.
The SPCA, in partnership with Canadian Tire, surveyed 1,000 pet owners. Nearly 1/3 brought home a pet for the first time, and most counted on their animal to cope with COVID stress and isolation. As schools and work sites open back up, the SPCA stresses it's time to train your pet and yourself for being away.
Maybe you're taking them on walks at, strange times. It's time to start bringing that routine back to what it would be when you have to go to work. Get yourself used to it. Get your pet used to it.
For Wynn, time with Mina and Trixie is the best part of her day.
Good girl. Come on, Mina. They just know instantly if there was something wrong, and they would just try to kiss me and paw at me.
Unconditional love from 2 rescued pups. Dogs Wynn believes saved her.
Hey. I love you.
Kendra Slagoski, Global News.
I can attest firsthand to the benefit of having a pet. My dog Cookie has been great to have throughout the pandemic. Although now that we're able to go out more with restrictions lifted, I think she's suffering a little bit from separation anxiety. Actually, I have a story coming out on that in the next couple of weeks. Well, that's it for the Cross Canada Spotlight this week. Be sure to watch Global News Weekend Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. on the Global TV app.